All right, there we go. All right, guys, without further ado, we have a very special guest this Wednesday, like we do every Wednesday. This diva is a boss. Her and her team are doing over $1 million in production. I am so happy to have met her. Guys, the great thing about FFL, and I know I've said this 100 different times, anybody in this company is willing to help you. You know, I emailed the guests for and everybody who I've emailed, Dom, like nobody hesitated. Sure, what tell me when I'll be there, right? So that's the great thing about FFL. Doesn't matter whose team you're on, everybody is willing to help and pour into and give feedback on how to get better because there's enough for everybody to eat, right? So this lady, Marissa, I know I saw your beautiful face this morning, Marissa M. Good morning.
Good morning, Colleen. Thank you for having me, girl.
Yes, ma'am. And she is the VP of, or you're what's your title? Board member?
I believe that is the one, yes.
Okay. So board member of FFL Inspire, Marissa, and I'm not gonna mess up your last name, Marissa M. But she is an absolute beast. And if guys, if you missed her on the builders call a couple weeks ago, I suggested you go back and watch that because she gave some nuggets about how to build. So Marissa, we do this call Monday through Friday. We have a guest on Wednesday, but this call mainly is about mindset, right? So we start out with the affirmations. So two things I want you to go over, and we go till about 9:30 Eastern. Number one, why is mindset so important and what people need to do to strengthen their mindset? And then number two, because we have our business opportunity meeting on Wednesday nights at 6. So we have our business opportunity tonight at 6 p.m. Why is it important to build a business?
Yeah, I mean, I love that, Colleen. And first of all, this is amazing. You guys do this 5 days a week?
Yes, ma'am.
That is gangster. Can anybody plug into this? Can I plug into this?
Absolutely. Hell yeah.
Yeah, no, this
We got
is
Dom on
awesome.
here.
And I
Like,
love
listen, yeah, hell yeah. The more
I know. I was like, Dom's here, Jesse's here. Like, I love this so much. So, Colleen, this is amazing. And first of all, guys, I think you guys probably already know how honored I am to be here, but also just how lucky you guys are. You know, obviously the sales portion of things. And Colleen, can you guys hear me okay?
You're perfect.
Okay, perfect. So obviously, guys, we know the sales, the dialing the phone, the things like that. But what people don't talk about enough in the business is just being blessed and having the right people around you, right? And we're real super lucky to be able to have a leader like Kali, to have people on this call like Dom. Obviously, I know Frank and Jamie help you guys out so much, but there's so many agents out in the world that like they might have the sales and they might have the dials and they might know where to get the leads and stuff like that, but they don't have the circle of support that you guys have within this team and that we've been so blessed to be able to create, guys. So I just want you guys to just give Kali a shout out and just tell her thank you for, you know, doing this every single day and waking up and leading from the front and doing what she does best. So yeah, so just so you guys know, I just feel like that's so underrated with how many people really just want to be a part of something.
We appreciate you,
And it's
Colleen.
so amazing.
Thank you. Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you, Colleen.
Much love and respect.
Yes. So Colleen, I love you, girl. Every time I talk to her, I get fired up. I just feel blessed and I feel happy. And I feel like I need her on my team call like every single day. So Colleen, I love that. Thank you for having me. Mindset in the business. Which I think is obviously the number one factor. I think you guys obviously have gone through things, whether you're just starting out to personally produce or you're wanting to build a team or whatever it is, there's going to be days where you don't want to do this, right? And there's going to be days where you want to quit. And I've talked to Colleen before and I was like, Colleen, did you ever want to quit? And she's like, girl, I want to quit, you know, once a week at least. Like, guys, that's all of us, right? Like there's always going to be days, and that's going to be in anything you do that are just, they don't go your way, right? Whether that's from a sales standpoint, a building standpoint, building is the long-term game. So that can even come with sometimes more frustrations of ups and downs. And, you know, I think a lot of leadership development, right? One of the biggest things that I've learned in the business is not necessarily how to, you know, cultivate more agents or how do I recruit more people or what's the best recruiting platform and those logistical stuff. It's how have I been communicating as a leader, and how do I keep this, this 6 inches between my ears? How do I keep that in a good place? So I think the biggest thing, guys, and this is kind of my philosophy on it, and everyone's is going to be different. What I always ask myself, guys, and I'm a big plan B person. So for me, every single day, obviously I want to say gratitude for the opportunity that we have. I always want to bring myself back to what I was doing before this. So before this, guys, I've been here 3 years. Before this, I was working in medical transportation, which I really loved. And I was bartending on the weekends. But when I say bring myself back to where I was, I was 20 grand in debt. I, couldn't really pay my bills. If something happened with my family or my little sister or whatever it was, like those things I couldn't help with. Right. And so I had Stephen Yee on our agency call the other day, and he said something, he said, this isn't just about money, but money makes it so that you can have freedom to make decisions. Right. Like you can have freedom to help your family. You can have freedom to do the things you need to do. And that's what we're able to get here. But that's not all it's about. Right. So for me, I always bring myself back to the fact that before this amazing opportunity, I didn't have the freedom to do those things. I didn't have freedom to help my family. I didn't have freedom to make decisions not based on financials. I didn't have, the freedom to, if I get sick and need to take a day off, or, if the day doesn't go the way I want it to go, to take some time to myself or whatever that is. So that's the first thing, guys, with mindset that I always try to remember is that where would I be without this opportunity? Okay. And then the second thing is, what is my plan B? And guys, if there's no plan B, you kind of just figure it out. Right. And a lot of times people will give you these big philosophical, like motivational answers. Every single day I ask myself, okay, Marissa, if you don't do this, and if this doesn't work, and you want to, complain and cry about how the day is going or whatever it is, or things aren't going your way, or maybe the business is going backwards, or you had some chargebacks or whatever it is, and you don't want to do that anymore, what are you going to do? And when I think about those other things and the other options for where I would be if I wasn't doing this every single day, I don't like those options. There's not a good comparable option, right? I'm like, would I go back to my old job? Would I, bartend again? Would I go back to the service industry? Would I go to, what would I do? Would I have to go back to school? Like, and every time I immediately start thinking about that, I'm just like, okay, Marissa, just get it together. Just get it together. Like, just continue to grind and do what you're supposed to do here, right? So that's the first thing, guys. And I know that some of you are like, oh, I maybe never thought that this was hard, whatever. It will come. It will come, right? So I think, guys, that we've all gone through that. Every single one of us goes through that every day, where you're like, dang, I got to get up early. I got to make these dials. I got to recruit more agents, or you get frustrated because the agents you recruited quit, or whatever it is. That stuff is all bound to happen, guys. And I try to keep that very, very small in my brain, that as soon as I start thinking about that, I literally ask my Kristen, Marissa, what's your plan B? I don't ever have an answer for what the plan B is. And I just go right back to it. So I think, guys, if you can master that concept, and you can master, and maybe you do, maybe you're like, hey, I've come from a bunch of business background, and I have an idea, and I have money coming in from other places, or I have another option, then your situation would be different than mine. But most of us on this call, and most of us that came to this business, came here because we don't have a plan B, right? Nobody woke up one day and was like, you know what, I want to be a life insurance agent today. Like, no, this all fell in our lap, or we fell in its lap. Like, we stumbled upon this opportunity, right? So we're all, and I love this, even like when Sean says this, like, we're all the land of the misfits who all had something special to bring to the table, and we needed a vehicle to make it happen, right? So like, this is where we ended up. And this is such an amazing opportunity for us that I have to bring myself back to that, Collie, every single day, right? And there's some days where it's like 3 p.m. You guys, you all get there, you get 3 p.m. You're like, I could stop right now. I could stop. But then I'm like, what's my plan B? Right? Because you also don't want to just be getting by the entire time. How do I get ahead? Right? So that's something for me that's been, I try to keep it quick and easy, guys. I'm very straight to the point, right? So when agents ask me like, hey, Marissa, I'm struggling with this, struggling with that, struggling with this, I ask them, right? Collie, you're struggling on the phones. Okay, what's your plan B? Okay, well, then you're not struggling on the phones if you don't have anything. Right? You're not struggling on the phones. Let's just get back to it. We don't even have time to talk about it. So whether or not that's the best thing, guys, I try to push everything away. I try to give it no thought, not a lot of time, and just get right back to what I'm supposed to do. And guys, as you build a business, because mindset leads into building a business, Collie, that is going to be the number one thing. right? Because every frustration that you have in the sales side of things, and every time things don't go your way in the sales side of things, is going to multiply on the business building side of things. And there's so many amazing things, but as you build a business, the one thing that I think is so important is strengthening your mindset. And the things that you do to do that is what Colleen's got you doing on this call. Do you get up in the morning? Do you get up early? Colleen, it's 6 a.m. over here. When I agreed to this call, I was on the East Coast and I forgot I'd be in Arizona. And I'm just kidding. I am on the West Coast, but I'm happy to be here, guys. But like, do you get up and are you putting your feet on the ground with purpose in the morning? Like when Colleen has a call at 9 a.m. or 6 a.m. or whatever time it is, like, are you making an effort to get on those things? Right? Are you making an effort to get on the builder's call? Because the best thing you can do for your mindset, right, is surround yourself with people that have that healthy mindset, that are pouring that life into you, right? As opposed to the negativity. Because we all have people in our lives that are outside of this business. Maybe they're in the business and they're negative and they don't think it's going to work. And they think, oh my goodness, I can't believe you're good at doing this every single day. So are you surrounding yourself with those people? Are you plugging into those things? Are you plugging into your team calls? Are you plugging in? Because guys, the sales stuff is honestly really easy. And there might be some new agents on here that you're like, Marissa, I can't believe you're saying it's easy. It is. Every time we've ever struggled with sales, it's always been in our head, right? Because the reality is sales has up and downs. Every sales industry has days where you don't make sales. Every sales industry. So like that is the hard part. The sales part is easy, guys. Dialing the phone, learning how to dial the phone, getting better. You just do it over and over again, just like you do anything else. Like that part is actually so simple. It's getting this in here that's important. And as you build a business, Colleen, and as you build teams, right, everything that you did on the sales side is going to multiply. Now you're responsible for everybody else's sales. Now you're responsible to keep everybody else's head above water, right? So thinking about that from a leadership standpoint as well, guys, if your mindset isn't where it needs to be as a personal producer, as you build a business, how are you going to breathe life into new agents? Right? That's something very early on that I think I want to say Grady told it to me, but I know Grady probably learned it somewhere else. He said, anything negative that goes into your mind or comes out of your mouth, it can go up if you want it to go up, but it can never, ever, ever bleed down into your team, or you'll kill your agency before you have one. Right? So if your mindset's not healthy, as you start to build this team and as you start to build this business, an agent calls you and they're having a bad day. How are you going to make sure that you know how to have that conversation with them so that you're not getting on the train with them to negative town, right? An agent, you're going to have things, an agent rolls debt, an agent has a chargeback, whatever it is. The best thing you can do is make sure that you're right up here. So that way you're equipped to deal with all those situations, right? Because the other thing is, how do you stay unemotional about it? How do you stay positive but unemotional? Right? There's been a lot of times in building an agency where I've gotten emotional about something and I've been like, that wasn't the right way to handle things. So I think as you guys start to build this team, thinking about those things, right? Not too long ago, Kali, I did like a builders conference with the top leaders on my team. And the first thing we did is we took the DISC assessment. And Dom would know what this is because I think they did that at one of their meetings, but we did the DISC assessment to basically show you what kind of communicator you are. Like it rates you in letters. And I would actually encourage all of you guys to do it. You can buy it online for like $50 or something. Or it might only be like 20, but it rates you, like you answer a series of questions and it tells you like, are you more of a dominant personality? Are you more of a, influential person? Are you more of like a steady, like doesn't really like confrontation, doesn't really like to communicate? Or are you more, are you a conscientious, I think is the last one. And what kind of mix of those? So like in your leadership, guys, as you start to think, am I growing agency? Am I going to recruit people? The next thing you got to think about is it's not just about recruiting people in numbers and getting them in here and throwing them out into the field, right? It's about how am I communicating with them? What's going on up here? Can I communicate with this person? What if I'm a high D, which is very dominant, and Kali, which I know she's an even higher D than me. I can already do that right now. But what if Kali happens to not be Kali and she's more of an S, which is like a very like steady, non-confrontational, very like more, conscientious type of communicator. Well, her and I might have, problems in the business that we don't know how to communicate to each other. Right. So she might think I'm being a certain way. I think she's being a certain way. And it's just like, no, we're different types of people. Right. So I'm going into all this, guys, because as you start to build a team, and I know that's what most of you guys want to do, there's a lot more to think about and a lot more things to work on. First being your mindset. Second thing being your communication, your leadership styles and things like that. More than there is just, hey, recruit a bunch of agents and get them in here. Right. So anything you can do to minimize your frustration. So when I would get frustrated in the business, when agents would quit, now I turn around and instead of getting frustrated or instead of getting, upset when the business maybe doesn't go my way, I ask myself, like, what is it that I could have done better? Like, was I a good leader in that situation? Did I do everything I could? Did I get emotional in my response? So I drove that agent to not want to work with me, right? So again, just like Zach said, a lot of Kali, you're on Zach's computer. A lot of self-reflection, right? So I think, guys, all those things are important, and to have those things in check as you start to build a team. Okay. I think asking yourself those questions every day. I think if you're having a bad day and for whatever reason, your mindset's not where it's at, where you want it to be, you got to take 5 minutes or 10 minutes to get it where you need it to be before you communicate with your team, before you communicate to agents, because everything that you're feeling in here is going to come out of your mouth in some form or fashion, right? Like, I've had days where I'm like not having a great day, and I talk to recruits on the phone and they like don't want to join my team. And I'm like, why do they not want to join my team? Like I said everything I normally say. And as I reflect, I'm like, no, Marissa, you said it with a not a good mindset. You didn't say it with a great tone of voice. You didn't really make them think the business was an exciting place to be because the way you were speaking, right? And all that stuff, guys, is not necessarily in your words, but it's in your tone. It's in your, how you carry yourself. I love Kali's affirmations because, like, do you believe those things about yourself? Do you believe you can do this? Do you believe you can have a big agency? Do you believe that you know how to be a leader? Do you believe that you're going to be getting better every single day? So I think those are all things, guys, that if I had done those things sooner in the business, I think my agency would be twice as big. Because it's very recently, probably over the last 6 to 8 months, that I've thought this thing is just not about recruiting a bunch of agents and getting them in and throwing them in the water and see if they can swim. That's not the point, right? I don't want to be an agency owner that just recruits agents just to recruit them and can't help them, right? So guys, if I could tell myself anything, it would have been to work on those things sooner, work on my mindset, get that down, right? Work on my leadership styles, work on my communication, self-reflect, make sure that I am also talking myself up, right? We can be hard on ourselves. That's why I love Kali. She is like the best at that, right? She's like, she'll hype you up. She hypes herself up. She walks into a room like she owns that. Like, that's important, guys. And like the way you feel about yourself and the way that you feel about what you bring to the table is huge. So Kali, in terms of building a business, you guys have a BOM tonight. You want to know specifics on where to recruit, how to recruit, why it's so important, what the opportunity.
Look, I know you're a big recruiter, right? Especially on social media. So if you want to get people to your BOM, what do you send out?
Yeah, great question. So, all right, guys, we also do a BOM once a week. And the way that we get people to those is mostly social media. Pretty much everything I do is social media. Okay. So now I do a lot of posting, guys. So you guys have to be posting at least every single day. Kali, if I asked you how many people on this call do you think post on their social media every single day about the business, how many would you say do that?
Probably myself and Corinne. And then Dom. All
right. So we got 2.
Probably 3 people.
We got 3. Well, I'm 4.
Well,
all right. We got 4 out of 46. So the first thing I would do, guys, is you don't have to have all the answers. You do not, right? Like, a lot of this is such a learning process. You don't have to have all the answers. But what I can tell you is if you don't start somewhere and take some sort of action, there will be no agency. Like, that's all you have to do, right? Like, you don't have to know necessarily what to say. What are the words I put on it? What do I do? But you have to do something, right? So many of us are caught in this place where you're like, I don't know what to do. So I think I'll just do nothing. No. I don't know what to do, so I have to do something. So, colleagues, my first thing would be on social media, guys, you have to post something every single day. It can be lifestyle stuff. It can be how the lifestyle goes into the business. It can be something to do with your family. It can be, hey guys, look at what look at what my business is. It can be, hey, hyping up somebody else on the team. It can say, look at my agency owner, Kali. She's been here 3 years, or she's been here 2 years. Look at what I built. She's been here however many years. Look at what she built. If you guys want to talk to her, hey, so-and-so is having a business overview meeting tonight. I know, guys, I haven't posted about this before. Just want to come on here real quick. You'll probably get a lot of traction. So that's my first thing, guys, is post something on social media. The second thing, Kali, that I do is I send hundreds of random messages to random people to see if I can get them on the business overview meeting. So I'll join like a lot of Facebook groups, Facebook job posting, things like that. And Kali, I can text it to you after this, but I'll send a message that basically says, hey, and I have my staff help. Obviously, I'm not doing every single message myself, but I'll have my staff help. But I'll go in and say, hey, Kali, looks like you're crushing it in the industry. that you're in. And I actually don't ask directly. This is something that I've learned has actually worked really well. And Tobe, the guy on my team, and I have been working on this. So I'll say, hey, Collie, I see you're in whatever industry that you're in. Looks like you're absolutely crushing it. Hey, here's the deal. I just opened up a local brokerage. I'm an owner of a local brokerage here in the area. And it's my responsibility to fill some agent spots. We're looking for some more people to work with us. You're probably not interested because I know you're actually killing it in what you're doing. But if you know anybody in the area, or you have any friends and family that you know have been looking for a new opportunity, I'm doing a free meeting on Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's just Zoom. You can pop right into it. Hey, Collie, if you know anybody that might be interested in coming, making an extra 5 to 10K a month, shoot me a message back and I'll DM you the link. So that's how that's how I'm generally asking. I'm actually sending that text message out to contacts. I send it on Instagram. I send it to pretty much whoever I can find it. And believe it or not, guys, you'll get some people that will show up to the meeting. They'll watch the meeting and then they'll maybe go schedule an interview with you, right? Or whatever it is. So that's kind of the way I do. I post a lot. We might Collie run like a sponsored ad on our BOM flyer if we want to try to just get more traction. And then the other thing, guys, is you relying on each other. Right. That's a big thing too, is like when Collie posts something, do you guys repost it? When Dom posts something, do you guys go interact with it? Because the reality is we are, we all want to grow a team. We're technically in competition with each other, but also we can't grow without each other. So when Collie posts something, do you go comment on it? Do you engage with it? Do you go repost it? Do you say, Collie Somerville is absolutely a beast. If you guys are interested, definitely go to her meeting. Because the reality is any engagement you can get, guys, and anything that you can do to interact with each other is only going to boost your presence online and be able to connect you with more people. Okay. The other thing, Collie, that people hate doing, and I hate doing this, is like, when is the last time you guys went through your warm market? Right. And I ask myself that all the time. And I'm just like, oh, Marissa, I know you need to do it, because I would love to do the social media stuff, because social media is still kind of cold. You don't know all those people. But like, when's the last time you guys went through your contacts and were like, hey, Collie, you're absolutely crushing it. I have a local brokerage here. Not sure if you know anybody that might be interested, right? Most of us hate doing that because most of us hate sharing what we're doing with the people around us. But like, you should be doing that every 3 months, right? Like, and sometimes that can be uncomfortable. So at the builders conference that we did, Collie, someone had asked me that, and they're like, well, Marissa, when's the last time you went through yours, right? Like, you're standing up here talking to us about how to build. When's the last time you went through your contacts in your phone or your Instagram followers and sent them a message? And I was like, shoot, you mean like the people that I went to school with, the people that I played sports with? Like, you want me to text those people? And the reality is, like, that's so selfish. And that was uncomfortable for me, right? Because I'm like, well, I'd rather just do the social media thing. But the reality is, guys, there's so many people in our lives, in our phones, that we interact with, that are actually friends with us, that we legitimately know from events, from gatherings, from places that we've been, from clubs that we've been in, from our old job. Like, I never texted anybody from my old job because I've been to like, oh, I just do the social media thing. Like, guys, no. Right. And a lot of building an agency and building the agency that you want and building a big agency is getting uncomfortable. Right. Like, getting uncomfortable. I'm like, I want to talk to people kind of that I know, but not that I know super, super close. Like, no. You got to do it, right? So, Collie, I would start with that. I would start doing anything on social media that you can. What's really nice for us is that some of the people that used to be, guys, there's just not a better time to capitalize. There's never been a time to recruit to the industry. And you have to believe that. Collie, do you believe that?
Absolutely. And I've been in the industry for 10
Right.
years, but and it's still, every time, there's never a better time.
There's never a better time. And the reality is, guys, as we talk about all this mindset stuff and we talk about, what are you saying to yourself? And we talk about being right in here between the ears, like, do you believe that about the industry? And I would ask yourself that after this call. Like, when you get on this call, are you like, hey, it's easy to recruit here because so many people need an opportunity. Hey, it's easy to do it. I just got to get a little uncomfortable. Hey, I just got to send out some messages I don't really feel like sending. Hey, I got to make some posts, even though the posts are uncomfortable. But the reality is, it's easy. Dom's doing it. Marissa's doing it. Collie's doing it. Like, this is the best time, guys, to recruit into the insurance industry. We have more carriers than we've ever had. We have more technology and ability to get the word out than we've ever had. We have more products than we've ever had. We have more industries outside of what we're doing that are struggling. And that's sad for them, but like, we have the answer for them. Like, you guys all know a car salesman in your life, probably, that you bought your car from. You guys all know a mortgage lending officer, especially if you own a house, you know where to get lenders. Like if you guys all know people in your life, you all know the people in your neighborhood that are door knocking you to sell you solar for the 15th time, because they're not having a good time, guys. It's hard for them right now. So instead of us being over here like, oh, I don't really know, should I post on anything? Like, how about we save those people? Right? So even if it's uncomfortable, guys, even if it's weird, even if you don't like it, Kali, just like Kali comes in here and acts like she owns the building, no matter what building she is in, which is what I love about her. Like, just get up and do it. Just do something. Even if you're like, Marissa, I can't send out 100. Don't send out 100. Send out 10 today. If everybody sends out 10 and you get one person on the BOM, that would be, if every single person on here came to the BOM and then every single person only got 2 people, Kali, that'd be 85 people on a BOM.
Game changer.
Right? And actually, that'd be more than that. I'm just not good at math. That's why I sell insurance, but it'd be a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right? So like, guys, it doesn't have to be, Kali. A lot of times we get this vision in our head of like, how do I become an integrity partner? How do I get to 1 million? How do I get to 1.5 million? Like, guys, just do something today that you didn't want to do yesterday. Send out 5 messages. If you've never sent none, just send 5. If you've never made a post, just make 1. If you've never talked good to yourself and done the affirmations, do it. If you've never done a personality test, do a personality test just because you're curious about yourself. What kind of leader am I? Who do I want to recruit? If you've never posted an ad on Craigslist, it's like, $10, guys. Go post one on Craigslist today. So that's my challenge, Kali, is like, don't get so caught up in this. Hey, how do I go to integrity? How do I get to 1 million? How do I get to a gazillion? Do something today, guys, that you have never done. And that might be up here. That might be the way you talk to yourself. That might be something as simple and small as, hey, Marissa said to ask myself what my plan B is. And today I'm really going to think about what my plan B is. And if the answer is you don't have one, then guess what? We're getting on the phones. We're getting on Instagram and messaging some people. We're recruiting some people. So that's it, guys. That is the secret sauce. You can learn so much from so many people at FFL. We're so blessed. But like, a lot of times, guys, our vision gets so big. Just do one thing today that makes you really uncomfortable. One thing today that you did not want to do yesterday, or ask yourself or talk to yourself in a way today that you don't normally talk to yourself.
Thank you, Marissa. And I think now that you said that, I'm going to challenge the team, right? So if anybody on here gets 5 people on the call tonight, I'll get you 100 leads.
Ooh.
100 free
I'm getting 5 people, guys. If that's your mom and your brother, if that's your mom and your brother and your cousin and your cousin's cousin, like, who cares, guys? That's 5 people. And what if one of them thinks it's a good opportunity?
Absolutely. So I
would pay my friend.
Win-win to me. Because even if someone ends up with 3 people on or 1 on, like, you still got more on that you probably would have got on before. So get 5 people on tonight, 100 leads on me. I'm here for it. So thank you, Marissa. You are a beast. Like I said, guys, unmute yourself and thank Marissa for her time this morning.
Thank you, Marissa.
Thank you so, Marissa.
Marissa, thank you for your wisdom.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
Thank
wisdom.
you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Marissa, your time is valuable, and I appreciate you.
Thank you, Marissa.
I appreciate you so much, Marissa, for
you guys are the best.
time and for your wisdom.
You guys are the best.
And thank you so much for just, for pouring into the team and always saying yes so easily. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Marissa. Thank you, Kylie.
Hey, yo, I'm a double. We're gonna double it up. Another 100 leads.
You said what, Don?
We're doubling it up. I was trying to unmute myself, but yeah, 200 leads. So you get 100, I got 100.
Oh,
I'm
5
down
people
for
on the call.
whatever.
Boom.
All right.
okay.
All right, I love it.
All right.
Let's go. Thank you, Marissa. You killed
All
it.
right, y'all.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Let's go to work.
Marissa.
Thank you for waking up so early.